All right. So as Ken mentioned, I'll be reviewing the updated SAE reporting. So first, I'm going to go over the Code of Federal Regulations. So under the 21 CFR Part 312, an adverse event or suspected adverse event is considered a serious adverse event if, in the view of either the investigator or the sponsor, it results in any of the following criteria. So this is the 6 SAE criteria that everyone is used to already. So that would be death, a life-threatening adverse event, an adverse event that results in an inpatient hospitalization or prolongation of existing hospitalization, a persistent or significant incapacity or substantial disruption of the ability to conduct normal life functions, a congenital anomaly or birth defect, important medical event that may not result in death, be life-threatening, or require hospitalization may be considered serious when, based upon medical judgment, they may jeopardize the patient or subject and may require medical or surgical intervention to prevent one of the outcomes listed in the definition. So under the 21 CFR Part 312.64, investigators must immediately report to the sponsor any serious adverse events, whether or not they are considered related to the investigational agents or intervention. So now I'm going to go over the FDA regulations versus the NCI guidelines. And so for FDA regulations, it defines any inpatient hospitalization or prolongation of hospitalization as serious. However, the NCI guidelines add in a requirement that the inpatient hospitalization or prolongation must be greater than or equal to 24 hours to be considered serious. It also removes the investigator's responsibility to determine seriousness. The FDA regulation requires clinical adverse events to report serious adverse events immediately. However, the NCI guidelines specify that depending on the grade or severity, which NCI establishes, an investigator may have up to 10 days to report that serious adverse event. So now the FDA has required CTEP to make appropriate modifications in the expedited reporting to the tables to ensure reporting is compliant with their regulations. So now all SAEs will start with a 24-hour notification, irrespective of the grade or severity, as long as they meet one of the 6 SAE criteria for compliance with the FDA regulations for safety monitoring. This also removes any constraint related to the hospitalization. So this will not require any changes in the groups in their IT system, as all changes have been made within CTEP and RAVE. In response to that, what is indicated by the person entering information in response to the checkboxes in the CTEP errors or RAVE system based on the FDA SAE criteria. This is a global change for all applicable studies at the same time under the immediate hazard clause. So the changes can be made at the same time for all applicable studies outside of the protocol amendment. Formal changes will be made to the tables when the next amendment comes through. So I mentioned this for applicable studies, and applicable studies are studies with a status of active, close to accrual, or temporarily close to accrual. So just to make it a little easier, we have a table here that if you want to, you could take a picture of, but these are all the applicable studies right now. And also all new CTEP IND protocols will also use the updated CTEP expedited reporting SAE tables. So as everybody is used to in the protocol, this is a table you would have seen previously. You'll notice that you have your 6 SAE criteria, and if it fits that 6 SAE criteria, you would then look down below, and you'll see on the left-hand side, there's actually the column for hospitalization. And you'll notice that if it fit hospitalization that was greater than or equal to 24 hours, you would have had to submit a full report within 10 days if it was within the 6 SAE criteria and was a grade 1 through 3. But then down below, if it didn't fit that greater than or equal to hospitalization, but was part of the 6 SAEs, you either didn't have to submit anything or you would have had to wait for the, or submit it within 10 days. And you'll notice that the 24-hour notification was only needed for your grade 4s through 5s. But now we've taken away that hospitalization column. And as I mentioned before, as long as it fits one of the 6 SAE criteria, you'll first have to submit a 24-hour notification and then follow that either with a full report, whether it's in 10 days or with 5 days. So this change or update, you'll see something like this across all trials through all phases. And so now talking about RAVE, usually you would have only seen a CTEP 24-hour notification on there for an event that would have required a full report within 5 days. But now with the new update, this will apply for all of the SAEs. So you'll just want to make sure it's going to look like this no matter what when you're in there now. It's always going to show if you have a CTEP errors reported, it's going to need a 24-hour notification. So the system is already showing that. It's up to you, though, to make sure that if the full report is needed in 5 days or in 10 days, that you comply with that. So now all changes were implemented back in August 30th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Any adverse events entered prior to this date or time will follow the old reporting requirements. So any queries issued will also follow that old process. But any adverse events reported the date or time or after that date and time will follow the new reporting requirements. So depending on when the adverse event happened or when you reported it, you'll have to follow whatever rules. An additional change, so we've also updated the pregnancy report form, which also went into effect on August 30th, and that must accompany a CTEP errors pregnancy report. The old versions of the form should be discarded. And now for additional information regarding expedited adverse event reporting requirements for DCTD, INDs, and IDEs can be found in the updated documents posted on the main CTEP website at the following link. And then if you have any questions, investigators and research staff can contact the Adverse Events Medical Help Desk. If you encounter any questions or problems on this global safety updates to the expedited reporting via CTEP errors, so you can contact them at the following email address and phone number. And then if you have any questions in regarding to adverse event reporting or anything to do with RAVE and adverse events, please feel free to contact the adverse events team at ECOG-ACRIN, and you can contact them at the following email address and phone number.